I mean, like, going to school at the University of Portland so that I can train to see Florida next year.
How many courses do you think you'll take?
I'm going to pretty much take a normal class load. In the fall, though, I'll probably overload it a little bit, maybe take more like 18 credits, and then in the fall, maybe back off and take like more like 14, because I'm going in with a lot of 18 credits already, so I should nearly have a year completed if these last 3 went well.
Right. So do you know what you're going to be when you grow up, and you know what you're going to study?
I'm actually studying chemistry. That's the path my dad went down, and I feel like you can probably do a lot with that major. So, and I'm kind of a science nerd, so I like that.
Which AP classes did you take?
Well, when I was a sophomore, I took chemistry. When I was a junior, I took biology and AP US history, and then this past time I took Latin, AP Lit, and then the 2 economics APs. So.
How was the Latin AP test?
It was a struggle. There was a lot of people I saw who were drawing very nice pictures during it, but I took it seriously and I really tried, so hopefully it went well.
18, is that the most credits you can take in a semester? Is that right?
I don't know if there's a max, but I think that's probably the most you can really handle. And I think in the fall, I'm not going to be really probably racing as much, so it probably makes more sense to like overload a little bit then. It's more that I'm probably going to be taking 2 sciences in the fall, so lab credits kind of like get slapped in there.
So you kind of got a running program laid out through the school year with Alberto. Do you know how often you're going to be racing, what you're going to concentrate on, all that stuff?
Not really, honestly. I can't really tell you what I'm going to be running necessarily next week. So, no. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I haven't, it's going to be very similar to it was this year. The only difference is I'll be out there.
How did you feel at the Prix?
I was a little disappointed with only running 2:02. But that being said, I'm kind of building back into shape. I think these past 2 weeks I've gotten a lot better. But one thing is, I haven't really been tapering for races, and even this race I'm not super tapering for either because I had a little bit of a setback in the indoor, so I'm a little bit like less, on than I was at this time last year. But at the same time, I'm starting to feel really good. I had a really good workout the other day, so I'm starting to get really happy and really confident.
Can you explain the injury a little bit of what you had during the indoor season?
I was kind of just having like a nagging pain in my lower leg, and we just kind of realized that although it wasn't something super serious, there's no point developing it to something super serious when you're 18 years old. And so we just made the executive decision to back off. One thing about Alberto is he's super conscious of making sure that I never really develop anything serious and never really have to be set back. So we just took it really slow. And I mean, the thing about it is, this past winter, I pretty much ran exclusively on the treadmill. And that's probably what the problem was, because I couldn't really leave my house with the snow. But, the past in the past, next year I won't have to deal with that, so it'll be definitely very nice.
What are you thinking about moving to the West Coast? Are you excited about it?
Yeah, I definitely am. I mean, I like that type of weather, like the constant little drizzle. I mean, I'm Irish, so my mom, when I ran at the Olympic trials in 2012, she was like, it was pouring rain out during my race. She's like, Mary, you shouldn't even notice the rain. You're Irish. You got this.
You said you want to stay in the dorms while you're there. Do you know who your roommate is yet? Or?
Well, I probably won't have a roommate because I do sleep in an altitude tent, and I'm sure I would make lots of friends then. So we decided that it probably made sense. So I went to school and I kind of explained my situation, and they're super understanding. They have very talented guys team, so they kind of know what they're dealing with.
Did you get to visit some classes where you're out of the school?
Yeah, I actually did get to visit a couple when I took my first visit and everything, and I actually went to a biology class, and it was like an intro to biology, and I was like, I know these things, so I was very happy. So
Michelle's Holmes a 93.5. As you have become such a star, what are you going to be studying at school?
As of now, probably chemistry. I mean, one thing about it is I'm going in undecided, because one thing about me is I do like a lot of things. So I don't want to hedge my bets on one thing and then, all of a sudden be like, wait, I kind of really like more of an economics route or something. So I'm a little open, but I'm seeing a chemistry path.
How much of a normal life do you have going on here now for high school life?
I would say pretty normal. I mean, I think my friends sometimes kind of joke because, I'm sometimes, they see me out running and stuff, and they're like, what the heck are you doing? Why do you do that? But otherwise, I don't think it's that different for the most part. I mean, yes, I do travel and more than my average peers. I do run a little bit more. But otherwise, I've had the same exact group of friends since I was a kindergartner, so it's really not that different for me.
What's in your mind before beginning of a race?
I don't know. I mean, I'm typically just excited, probably a little bit nervous. And, I guess it depends what race or competition I'm going into, but I try to go into every race with the same mindset, and that's just a positive one. So.
How old were you when you started running distance?
Well, when I was a 7th grader, I did outdoor track for our school, and I immediately kind of made our varsity team. I made the state meet, and my shoe fell off halfway through the race. My dad was really funny. He didn't notice, and he was filming it. He's like, "You were 2 seconds off your PR," and I was like, "Yeah, because my shoe fell off." So it was very sad. And then in 8th grade, I did indoor and outdoor. And then my freshman year, I was running all 3 seasons. But I still joke with people. In freshman year, I didn't run every day. So sophomore year was really the first time it was like, whoa, I'm getting really serious. So it's been a few years now that I've pretty much run every day.
What do you think about your world champ experience from last year? How do you put that in perspective?
It definitely has, given me a lot more confidence and a lot more excitement for the year. And I kind of know that going into competitions that I really should kind of be up there, and I have to take that. Sometimes it comes with maybe a little bit more pressure because you're like, wow, that was such an amazing experience. But at the same time, I think it's been a totally positive thing. Whenever I line up, I'm like, I know I deserve to be in this field. I know what I can do. And so it's just very exciting. And that was so fun last year.
How did you have to prepare yourself differently to get through the heats in the world champs last year? Did you just take it one thing at a time?
Yeah, it was kind of a one race at a time sort of situation. But that being said, it was definitely different. And there are days where I'm talking to people and I'm like, I still don't know how I got through that. Like, that was pretty tough. But, it was one of those experiences where it was absolutely amazing. And, whenever I go into races now, it also makes them seem a little bit easier. Because I'm like, oh, you only have to do one race. Like, come on. Like, you don't have to run 3 days. So, it was definitely something different.
Now, will you be concentrating on Diamond League for the rest of the summer? Is that kind of a focus, or is it back and forth?
Probably in the later aspect, like probably in August, I will try to do, a few Diamond League competitions. But right now, I'm also kind of interested in potentially running at the World Juniors. So.
Yeah, so have you decided, I guess then, are you going to do the U.S. Juniors, which run at the same time as the Paris meet, so you're definitely not going to do Paris?
We're not like 100% official or anything. We don't even know necessarily what race. For me personally, I'm kind of interested in maybe like 3K. I thought that might be a little crazy. Do something fun, I don't know. But same time, the 8, 15, they're open as well. So nothing's really official, but that definitely is on my radar, especially since it's in Eugene. It might be kind of fun to do. So.
You've done cross country before. Will we see you back doing cross country again in the future, do you think? Or is that
probably not next year. But then again, I don't know, maybe a few years down the road you'll see me doing it, but I'm kind of leaving that open. I haven't really thought much of it. I'm just trying to survive the 15 and 800 right now, and I ran 5K last year, and I'm counting myself lucky because I don't think I'm going to have to do another one this year. So.
Was there a difficult decision at all in terms of like going to school and running on the track team as opposed to doing the pro thing and going to school anyway? What kind of stuff did you throw around there to make that decision?
It definitely was a tough decision. I mean, it wasn't just something that I just immediately knew, but we really kind of hashed it out, and by we, I mean my family, and my coaches and everything. And I just realized that in a lot of ways, the path I'm going down now is what I love to do, and it's what I did last year and had a really good time doing. In school, for me personally, like most of my friends are not track athletes, let alone people who really necessarily do sports. So for me, it's kind of like going to school and all of a sudden being like completely consumed by track. Like that might be a little bit out of my comfort zone at this point. I kind of like having my group of friends that are kind of less track-based, so that if I want to go and rant about something, that they'll just sit there and nod and be like, it's okay, totally not understanding. But I kind of like having that.
How long have you been sleeping in the altitude tent?
I don't even know at this point. I've just gotten so used to it. I love it. It's really fun. My friends love it too. They're just like, Mary sleeps in the tent. So they love coming over and just like looking at it. It's a topic of much conversation.
Can you explain it to us how it feels? I mean, do you wake up and kind of notice? Does it make you short of breath or anything like that? Because people are kind of curious.
I mean, the first maybe couple times I did it, it was a little weird, but since then it's just, I just go in my tent and I go to sleep, and it's, you know.
What are the health benefits of that? Blood flow?
Yeah, it's supposed to like raise like, you know, your, I think, hemoglobin levels so that you're able to, you know, access more oxygen readily. So I like it. I love my tent. My friends love my tent. My parents probably hate it, but hey.
Whose idea was it? Was it your idea or was it Alberto's? Or?
No, I think it was more Alberto's. My parents at first were just like, you have to have a tent in your room. And I was like, it's the new thing. Everybody's doing it.
At what elevation does it simulate?
It can go anywhere really. It just depends on like what you kind of want.
What do you want?
I don't know. It kind of varies throughout the year, depending on like where I'm at and stuff. So if I'm like tapering, it might be something different. But yeah. So,
Does Alberto tell you like what to set it at?
yeah, typically.
Mary, what advice would you give a young distance runner, a 14-year-old or 15-year-old who's just getting started?
That's actually a good question. I like sometimes I get like letters from different people and they're like, you know, what should I be doing right now? Like I'm 14. Like what were your times when you're 14? And you know, one thing I always kind of say is, you want to make sure when you're younger that you're just having fun with it. And I know a lot of kids who, when they're like super young, they start to get like really overwhelmed by track, and by the time they're my age, they're already kind of like burnt out and they don't love it. And so I would say, take it slow, take it seriously, don't take it as a joke. But just always make sure you have a smile on your face at the end of a race. Because at the end of the day, if you're not having fun with it, what's really kind of the point?
So what question have we not asked you that you want the media to ask you? Are there any questions like that? Do you ever think that way?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Do you like Frozen?
What?
Did you like Frozen?
That is a very good movie. My sisters and I all went to see it. I truly enjoyed it. It was a quality movie. I'm a Disney kid. I've seen like every Disney movie. Like I discussed it with my friends. Like, nobody's seen the Black Cauldron. I feel like except for me. That is good.
Did you see Maleficent, the new one?
No. I'm talking like, you
The
know,
old Disney stuff?
kid Disney. Like this is like, you know, going
Bambi
hard.
and
Yeah, that's a sad. That's a tearjerker right there.
Did you go to prom this spring?
Yeah, I did.
How was it?
It was really fun. My prom was like midway through May and stuff, so that's kind of why I didn't get to do a lot of like early racing, because I had that and APs and just other
Yeah.
school obligations. And, I had a really good time. It was awesome, and you know, it was fun to hang out with my friends.
So I'm confused. You said you get letters. I didn't know anyone wrote letters anymore. What the hell do you actually get letters?
Yeah, sometimes.
Lots and lots.
Very
How many
nice.
letters you get?
I don't know, but like they're always like really nice, and like, you know, always like touched by each like person who takes the time out to write them.
They come through school? How does that happen?
Yeah, often they come through the school. Like kids maybe write to the school, and then they send them off to me. So it's nice.
Have you done anything with underprivileged kids, or you know, in terms of inspiration, or you know, going out?
Well, this past like I don't know when it was. This winter, I was working with USATF, and they have like a new program out. It's Go Noodle, and me and Galen both did this. Like we went to like these schools in Portland, and it was actually really fun. The kids were so cute because it's like trying to get kids active like in class and everything, and they were like going hard. Like I was scared. I was like, I can't keep up with these kids. The kids run in place, and like they had like javelin activities and everything. So I had a really awesome time with that. So
That was through the USATF Foundation.
yes, yeah, exactly.
So, pardon me, you're running the 800 center?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. And I think you had talked one time at the Melrose Games about how it wasn't about times, it was about racing.
Yes.
Is that kind of Alberto's thing, that it's always about racing and you don't worry about the times pretty much?
Pretty much. I mean, there are definitely days where you're kind of shooting for a specific time, or you're trying to go under something. But the problem is, the second you become obsessed with a specific time, it actually becomes harder to run it because you're not necessarily doing the process, and then during the race, you're getting freaked out because you're off pace. So, I mean, at the end of the day, in championship racing, you need to be able to win off of sub 4 pace or a 4:11 pace. And so just having different experiences is really what's key to our training.
So for a race like Saturday, is there a target number in your head, or just go out and race and see what happens?
No, I mean, for the 800, I still consider myself a little bit inexperienced with 800-meter races tactically, because they're so fast, and you just need to like really be on throughout the whole entire competition. So for me, it's really just about getting stronger in that event.
You said before you kind of enjoyed the 1,000-meter distance indoors.
Yeah.
right now, where you're at, what's your favorite distance to race?
I would probably say the 1500, and I think that's because I'm most comfortable with it. It's the one I've done the most, I have the most experience with it. So in a way, you know, for me, I can go into it with a little bit less pressure because I know, you know, on an off day I can do this, on an on day I can do this. But with something like the 800, I mean, I can go out there and run a really fast time, or I can be really confused the whole entire race. And so that's why sometimes actually running a good 800 is a little bit more special as a result, but it's also a little bit more difficult to make it.
You're a young woman. How do you maintain a positive attitude? You definitely have a bubbly personality. And how do you maintain that when there's struggle and there's issues? You know, sometimes things aren't going the way they should.
Well, this past, kind of like build up to the spring season was a little bit different. It was a little bit more difficult just because, I think I was starting to get a little bit consumed by like my own expectations and stuff. But I think one thing that really does help me is I do have an amazing support. I have an awesome family who, at this point, they like kind of know what's going on with track, but it's not like we're crazy track people who just consumes our lives. So that really is a benefit. But then again, I have amazing coaches, amazing staff, amazing teammates, and I think that's what's really keeping me. And also my friend group, they're awesome. Like, I know a few people are actually coming to the race because it's in New York and everything, and they'll be so confused while it's going on. They'll be super excited, so I'm very happy about that.
So do you do Facebook and Twitter, or do you run any of that stuff, or do you stay away from it, or what's your...
I limit it. Facebook, I occasionally go on, but typically it's more like I know it's my friend's birthday and I want to wish them happy birthday or something. And Twitter, I go on a little bit, but, I try to stay off of those sites just as much as possible because, it can get crazy and I don't want to, start reading into things, and, so I do it more for fun and if I'm, more looking at my friends rather than, myself on, those sites and stuff.
Do you follow the sport? Are you becoming a track geek, or is that a little ways out of the...
I've always, really been a huge fan of the sport, but at the same time, I wouldn't really call myself a track geek. In that, I do know, the stats and everything, and I know the athletes I'm competing against. But then again, these are people who I run with, and I see all the time and stuff, and so I don't really read into articles about them, their personal, I don't go like that. It's more like, I was watching Diamond League from the other day, that sort of stuff, so, and it was exciting. I was awesome. That was fun to watch.
With your upcoming graduation, will you valedictorian, will you do a speech? What are some of the things involved?
Our school actually doesn't do that. We don't have class rankings or anything like that because we're a little too competitive for that. Things would get really bad. And, it's really bad. No, it's cool. But I'm super duper excited for the graduation and everything. And I think maybe the president's speech, but that's really about it. And the day before I take my driver's test. So I'm really hoping that by graduation I'll have my license. And the thing is, I can drive. I've driven on highways. I know what I'm doing, but it's just a matter of passing the test. So
Are you a little nervous about it, or how are you doing?
Well, the thing is, I can parallel park, but what if I don't? Then that's bad.
So this is your first time taking the test?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite meal that you eat the day of a race, the day before a race, anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I honestly try not to become super superstitious, almost I have to eat my buffalo chicken wings. I don't know why you eat that, but
Because you're a teenager.
yeah, it's true. But I do like to eat pancakes on the day of a race. I typically eat those about 3 to 4 hours beforehand. I really like pancakes. So that's why I like being in Eugene, because they have that Opa place. And that was, they had I don't know, pancakes are pancakes, and everybody was really building it up, so I was like, calm down here. But it was really good. They had really good pancakes.
I like to see the new equipment and stuff you get from Nike, like the new shoes. Remember you talked about that last year? They were kind of going, where'd you get those sweats and that kind of thing?
Oh, yeah, no, they like my cape. I call it my cape, even though I think it's a poncho. And so, yeah, they're always kind of laughing when I bring new stuff in. They're just like, Mary, what are you doing? But I think they think it's really cool. So, and it's always fun for me and my sisters. It's my sisters love it.
How many sisters do you have?
I have 3 sisters. So one's 2 years older, one's 3 years younger, and one's 5 years younger. So they like it. They're at, it's good. They take a lot of my things. they disappear, and all of a sudden I see them wearing them, and I'm just like, I like that too, you know.
Sort of a funny thing to ask somebody who's already a professional. But do you sort of view this next week as your last chance to be sort of a fling as a kid?
Not really, honestly. I still have the whole summer. And, you know, I'm still only going to be a college kid the next 4 years, so, and that's hoping I graduate before. But I think I will, don't worry. My parents are like, you have no choice, but, so. Pretty much.
Don't get in trouble.
Pretty much.
What is the difference? We asked you that question just when you became a pro, which was kind of a hard one to do, like 2 days after you became a pro.
Yeah.
Now that you've had all this life experience as a pro athlete, how is it different from when you were just a normal high school kid running track? Or was that really ever?
To me, I have never seen a difference. I mean, you know, there was a bigger jump from my sophomore year to junior year, where I was under a new program, new coaching, and everything. Junior to senior year, to me, you know, I've matured, like physically and everything, so my workouts are a little bit different. But otherwise, it's kind of the same stuff. It's the same routine. You know, next year will be more of a jump, just because I'll all of a sudden be in college and in a new city and everything. But the literal idea and concept of actually going professional, it really hasn't changed anything for me. So, and I'm glad about that. That was kind of one of the reasons I took that path, because I kind of wanted it to be kind of how it has been, because I've been having a lot of fun with it. So.
Can you talk about some of the cross training you do, both to complement running and recreational?
I mean, we really try to keep it for the most part, like really just like the running motion sort of stuff. We do a lot of like weights, core, and like that sort of stuff. It's really embarrassing because I am like, because I'm 18, like I'm not as strong as like the others. So it's like Jordan Hassey squatting like some ridiculous weight. Meanwhile, I'm like, you know, oh, 5 pounds, let's go. So it was really, it's kind of sad, but I'm getting there. I'm improving, so I'm very excited.
Let's do one more question, okay?
Mary, were you surprised when you became a world-class runner? I mean, how did that feel?
It's definitely been quite the whirlwind these past couple of years and everything, but I have coaches that really believe in me. I have family that really believes in me. So at this point, I just kind of roll with it, you know? I don't really know what to expect these next 2 years, and I kind of like that. I kind of like it being just a little bit of a mystery, you know, for me and for everybody. So I'm going to have fun, just trying to keep running faster and just trying to do more crazy things.